G'day, legends. G'day, superstars. Peps here. Jdog's here. You know, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great podcast that we're part of every single week, lace out. This is the childish antics that, unfortunately, sometimes I have to deal with. You've just ruined it. I don't even know how to put it back on the screen, Jamie. What have you done? Oh, round 7 in the books, everybody. I'm your host, Chris Pepper, the amazing Jamie Wallace joining us as always. Great to see everybody joining us live on YouTube and Facebook as always. Everybody tuning in on the podcast, thank you very much. You are awesome as always. You know that's true. More importantly, Big Dog, how did you cover the football on the weekend? Did you see much? What caught your eye? What caught the feelings? There's lots going on. Anzac weekend. How'd you see it?
Pretty shit. What a shit round of footy overall.
Okay, well, we're going to get into the footy, as we always do on a Wednesday night. Everybody's joining us. Dukey Lee's on board. Brad Love Him Donuts is on here as well, too. We're going to be going off. Going to talk about a few things. Going to have a chat about some great football. It was some great football. One of them wasn't Jamie's team. So let me get stuck into it. Let's get straight into it. It's ladder time. You know, it's a time that we like. It's ladder time. It's time that we like to share how the ladder is looking, and it is starting to open up now. My friend Jamie the Jdog Wallace. Let's show it up on the screen. Let's make ourselves a little bit bigger. Gorgeous. I just like that. All right, ladder. Geelong Cats on top. Geez, they're awesome. They're looking, you know, just when you want that team to fall in a complete heap and everybody move into the Torquay retirement home, they just keep rejuvenating themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if they're on the Danks. Again, Sydney Swans, GWS, Melbourne, Carlton are your top 6. Then you got Essendon having 18 points due to the bye. Fremantle get back onto the winning rang, back into 8th spot. Coast Suns 16, Collingwood on 14, Western Bulldogs, LA Crows, Brisbane Lions, Shit Kilda, Wet Toast Eagles, Bitchmond, How Much Thorn, and we are going to be folding soon. North Melbourne Football Club, 0 wins, 57%. What do you reckon as, Big Dog? What do you think? What do you feel? What do you see? What's the Marbo? What's the Serenity when you look at the ladder right now?
The ladder is full of lies at the moment.
All right, what's lying then? Give me something.
Give me something that's lying. Okay. All right. On the back of our thing last week, I think Port Adelaide is overinflated at the moment.
Yep.
I'm cool on my Jets on them. I know it's my own team and I'm allowed to, but I'm probably thinking that we're maybe a spot higher than what we should be.
Yep.
Spot or 2. I think the Carlton probably deserve to be a little bit higher. I think they've had a pretty tough run at the start of the year, and I think they're probably paying better than what a 6th ladder position is. And that also speaks truth for Collingwood as well. I think Collingwood are back to their best, if not slightly ahead of where they were last year, because their pressure is just immense.
You know what? Big fella, I have to disagree.
Okay.
I think Collingwood are far from where they were last year. They let the first 5 goals go against themselves on the weekend, and they were lucky to get back into that game. Essendon should have won that by a country mile. If it wasn't for bad kicking, which is bad football, they would have lost that game and would have been sitting in 12th spot. So they got away with one right there. I also look at Fremantle. They're a false economy. They've got a great midfield, but both ends of the spectrum, forward and back, just susceptible, full stop. Essendon, I must admit, are playing really, really good footy at the moment. I think they've turned a little bit. They should play finals from here on. They've got a pretty good draw, so they should be able to get away with it. Port Adelaide, just when you think you couldn't have you're going to get beaten by Adelaide this week, just due to the amount of injuries that you've got. It's going to be an absolute challenge. We'll find a lot out about the Ds over the next couple of weeks as well, too, because the Ds simply have Carlton and Geelong, or Geelong and Carlton over the next couple. So it's going to, the top half of this ladder is going to sort itself out over the next couple of weeks. From the bottom end side of things, I can't see anybody outside of 10 down making it. So Bulldogs gone, Crows, Lions, St Kilda, West Coast, Richmond, Hawthorn, you can start packing for Vegas, my friends, because you are not even going to get close to anyone. Brisbane are putrid. They can't even win at home. And if they can't even win at home, they've got no chance of making it full stop. Western Bulldogs, they're as fluffy as a brand new down pillow. I think there's only 10 teams left who can make the 8.
Yeah. This weekend for me, I had a lot of time to watch football this weekend. And I must say that the skills just were not great across any of the games.
No.
Like I look at the Thursday night. Sorry, Wednesday night.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah. That first half was deplorable, Peps.
It was disgusting.
I watched the first half of the Gold Coast Suns West Coast game.
Yep.
Either team couldn't hit a target 25 meters out from each other. Like that was just turnover. Not because of pressure, because they kept missing kicks. The North Melbourne game, the Hawthorn game, both those teams, and I don't want to shit on North Melbourne because we know where they are at. We've had Eddie McGuire come out this afternoon and start talking about that club should be folded, blah, 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 whatever. He's basically saying that club should be folded or words to that effect. Peps, have I got that correct?
Yep, pretty much.
There are players in that team, and I don't want to start picking the eyes out of teams that are struggling, but there are players in that team that I just hope they just get out of there because I think they're just they're going to have a nothing career there. Yep. I just thought this round of football was a really poor round of football skill-wise across the whole league.
You know what? You're right. It was just a challenge. It was a challenge on a couple of games, and there are a couple of games where you go, "Oh, that was good footy." So, can I just show you? This is what football is all about. Now, for all the crap that we get, we talk about the quality of games. We're talking about the quality of the teams at the moment, the quality of the fixture, the quality of the rules, etc. Yet this epitomizes everything that is great about our football. Can I just do it right now? This is
Absolutely.
simple as it gets.
It's good.
That is why, regardless of all the work, regardless of everything that happens, rules wise, etc. And I want to go into a few rules. I know it's my, it's my athletes are not footballers. I can't stand the rules. And a couple of things that have happened over the last couple of days have just taken it to a complete utter level. Now the AFL have just screwed the pooch, which what they should have done from what they stuffed up last year, how now it's having an ongoing effect. But that shot there is an absolute corker. To the point, I want to get that framed up on the wall. Yep. Like a proper shot of that signed on the wall. That is just, I haven't seen many marks where I've just gone, shit. Like that describes our game in one photo.
You reckon that's mark of the decade?
It's it's mark of the year. Nothing's going to beat that.
No, nothing.
Unless you get Caleb Daniel, who's shorter than Jamie Elliott's standing on someone's shoulders, but no one's going to get close to that. It's mark of the year, probably mark of the decade. Yeah. There's some absolutely cracking marks as well too, but from a spectacle perspective, that'll be on every AFL ad and every football card for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. What's great about our game? That.
Yeah, I reckon that to me, almost that, I don't know, something about that mark there just flashes back to the Gary Moorcroft goal square mark to me.
Yep. Oh, Gary was a bit different because he took the ball behind him, but it was just so flush. That was pure. As Hoynie would say on SEN, that was pure.
Yeah.
Absolutely pure. So what I want to do, Jdog, is just absolutely excited by what I saw there. And what I would love to go into is just my little 5-minute wrap-up of the gone in 60 seconds, round 7. Because it was actually a good weekend of footy. But I'm going to start with the Friday night game that I had to go to. Went to the footy with my daughter and her boyfriend. Let's just say, it's a shit game of football. Jdog, when your dad says this and sends me a text, Peps, Chris, your team's shit. And when your dad says that about his own team, it was the worst half of football. I said this. It was the worst half of football I've seen Melbourne play since the 2018 prelim where they didn't even kick a goal. It was woeful. That's how bad it was. Came back in the second half. Daniel Turner was awesome. Jarryd Rivers was awesome. Max Gawn, best ruckman to play the game since Simon Madden, maybe? I'm going back pretty far. Well, who's been a better ruckman than Max Gawn over the last 25 years?
No, I'd probably...
So who would you take? If you could take Dean Cox or Max Gawn, who would you take? Write it in the chat, everybody, in the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell.
What about Sanderlands?
Pardon? Nah.
Sanderlands?
No, not even close. You go from that game, and then you go into the absolute ball terror that was the Anzac Day. Now, that is a game of football you should put on and just get everybody to watch. It ebbs, it flowed, it was up and down. It had more twists and turns than an Agatha Christie novel, that game. It was football. And the result that came out, which was the draw, was perfect. And no, we do not need to bring in extra time. Extra time can get stuffed. If you've got 120 minutes or 100 minutes to win that game and you can't, stiff. Both teams had the opportunity to do so in the last couple of minutes. Couldn't get it across the line. That is a result, and that is the result that should stay. Simple as that. All right, you go into the Friday night game. The Lions got skinned. Giants are just getting bigger. They're climbing that big, giant beanstalk of success up the ladder. They are absolutely brutal. They are hard. Brisbane are finished. They've gone down by 9 goals.
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty loss.
No. There's something majorly wrong up there, whether it was Chatgate, whether it was Zorko Gate, whether it's Fagan Gate. I don't know what's going on, but there's a gate up there that just won't close, and they just got nothing at the moment. And GWS, can they sustain it? That's the question. You don't want to peak too early. We've seen teams win, 10 in a row, 9 in a row at the start of the season and fall in a complete heap. Premierships are not won in April, but positions in finals are set up. So GWS is looking good. Your game, 10-point result. I think the big thing to come out of that was the injuries, Jdog. Do you want to give the listeners and the viewers a bit of a heads up on your opinion on that one?
Yeah, it was just not a great. It wasn't a great spectacle of footy. I think probably showed where Port were. Bad kicking once again, all those sorts of things. We always talk about Port Adelaide. But yeah, Connor Rose with a hamstring injury. Sam Powell-Pepper with a ACL.
That sucks.
That's it. So that's the season done. We had a Lear get concussed, so that's 2 weeks for him. And Ollie Wines continues to have his Woden season. So
don't bring Wowie into it. Just leave Wowie alone, all right? All right, let's move on to the Saturday games. I'm not going to spend any time on this one. North Melbourne, 57 points. Well, at least it wasn't 60. They're putrid. Then you have a result that flattered Carlton because they were down and out in this one, and then to come back by 13 points, I think a bit more than it should have been. But Geelong, can they sustain it? That's the thing that I'm looking at the moment. Can they sustain it for an entire season? We've seen Dangerfield go down. I reckon if Jeremy Cameron goes down, they're in trouble.
The answer is yes.
Max Gawn for Melbourne, Jeremy Cameron for Geelong. If he goes down, they're in massive, massive trouble. Massive trouble. But he is just exceptional. Fremantle. What did this game say more about, Fremantle or the Doggies?
Probably Freo.
Yeah. I'm not scared of them, but their midfield's humming. Fifey had 30-odd. He hasn't had 30-odd since 2021, apparently. So for him to get it back, but Western Bulldogs, there is something. I think we've overstated how good their list is. Outside their top 8 players, there's not much that sits underneath. You take the Bont out, you take Ugelhagen out, you take Libber out. I'll throw in Darcy there as well too. Richard.
I'll let you a 5-minute rant. I'll let you a 5-minute talk first, and then I want to just talk to you about two players in particular.
All right. So they were useless. Gold Coast, great win. Eagles got off to a flyer, 3 goals up, but Gold Coast just showed what they had to do. That's a game that they had to win, but they rolled it by 37 points. That's a nice margin for them. It just gives them some confidence. And like I said, if they want to play finals, they're the ones that they have to win, and they did it. And Hawthorn a poo. Sam Mitchell had a spray. That was great. And I had an 11-leg multi and missed it by 1.
Oh, brutal.
Because of good old Tommy Papley, gamble responsibly. But they Swans just did what they had to do as well too. So the haves had, the have-nots did not, and the ones who didn't even turn up didn't. So it was really just a normal week as well too. A couple of quick shout-outs. Lee Ali is on. Tori Daniels. She's just amazing, Tori. She's an absolute superstar. Big shout-out to her. Andy Newen on the YouTube. Fantastic to have him here for the first time, I think. So make sure that you like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. We are building that up. We want to hit 500 subscribers by the end of at least this season. So we need you to do it as well too. And Jake Rogers, the rising star. Obviously, he was from Gold Coast. That means Tommy Roker is on as well too. A couple of things that came out of this so far. Jdog, Duke Lee, Geelong are as fit as. Can't disagree with that. Joel Michael put a line through everybody, 14 and below, lock in the top 3, top 4, 4 to 13, throw a blanket over them for the final 5 spots. I'd say maybe only 10. I think anyone less than Collingwood, no one else can make it after that, unless they get on big runs. Andy Newen, love your work, buddy. Lee Ali, good evening, gentlemen. That mark was almost as good as Sean Smith's mark back in the day. Demons are going to win with 22 turnovers by foot in the first half. The average for a game this season is 23. It was putrid. Can't argue with him there. Cannot argue with him there. You've also then got just a bit of love on it by everybody as well too, and most importantly, hire legends, which is absolutely true as well. All right, Jdog, you mentioned that you want to speak something about the doggies, and then I want to get into something that could be a little bit unpatriotic.
Okay. All right. So, Peps, I said at the start of the show, I don't want to start picking the eyes out of teams when they're struggling. My fear is, Peps, this is my fear. And you mentioned a play there before we already spoke about. Bontempelli. Bontempelli is one player that is far too good to remain on the Western Bulldogs list. And it's going to be a damn shame for him to go down, because Bontempelli, to me, is the best player in the AFL all round. You put him in any 22, he will go on around and become club best and fairest for those clubs.
True, just bad set shot from 30 metres out. Just have some kryptonite, doesn't he?
But other than that, like you talk about another player who literally has shown up for their club for the last 6 years, and it's Bontempelli. Like 2013 draft was his first year. I don't think he's played a bad year since hitting the ground. So he's one player. The other player I want to talk about is Nick Larkey. He is too good to remain at North Melbourne Football Club. I know he's a young player and they're trying to build a bit of a team, but he's got one of the cleanest set of hands in the AFL, and he's got one of the most purest kicks of the football in the AFL for goal. And once again, I sat back and watched that game on Sunday and just thought, what a damn shame that he's going to just waste his career at North Melbourne, when I think if he played at any other club, a Collingwood, a Melbourne, a Richmond, or whatever, he would get far more accolades than what he's getting at North Melbourne. And I just think it's a sad thing that's where he's stuck. I don't know. I love seeing good players play for good teams.
Well, he's going to be there to the end of 2029.
It's a long time. He signed that contract, and I get it. It's up to his call. He's been paid very well, but that's a long time.
It's a long time to have a forward line on your back, because Cam Zerhart is their Jordan DeGoey.
Yeah.
This doesn't work hard enough. Now, to give DeGoey a bit of credit, his last couple of seasons have been really good, but the penny didn't drop for so long. Someone said it was almost the North Melbourne Jake Stringer. and
Yeah.
I agree. But what frustrates me is I see these gun players stuck in crap teams. I feel sorry for people like the Sheasel,
Yeah.
Davies Uniac.
North of
Anyone who plays for North, I feel sorry for Rosie and Butters, stuck at Port Adelaide, never going to win a flag. They're just wasting their time there. No,
not untrue.
I joke. But no, it's you want to see some sort of progression, and they're not. And I know Tommy Roker says the salary cap goes up $2 million next year, but just Zerha said he's holding off. He doesn't want to stay. He doesn't do hard yards. You know what? I'd get rid of him. He doesn't want to be there. He's not obviously working hard enough. Go somewhere. Because that he does not say to me he's dedicated.
Is it purely the fact that Clarko was coming to North? That's why what's now signed on for? He signed on for? Because I don't get it.
I think it's the right decision because they're going to have a nice core that's going to be there. The problem that they've got, two issues at the moment. The first big issue with North Melbourne is that their senior players are not playing like senior players. So you look at, perfect example, you look at Jdog, you look at Gold Coast at the moment, right? Who's their senior players? Jared Witts. Just has a crack every single week. Tuke Miller, crack every single week. David Swallow, original, has a crack. Sam Day has a crack. So the ones who have been there for a while are still having a good, hard crack. Even someone like Alex Sexton, who's not getting a game at the moment at the Suns, is still dominating in the twos, trying to get back in there as well too. You don't see that from North. You don't see anybody belting down the door. The second thing is they don't have a back line, Jamie. So once you get it past the halfway mark, there's too much reliance on these young kids because the upper echelon are not doing their job and the quality that they've got down back is putrid.
Yeah, I just watched on the weekend just going, these guys are just wasting their careers in these clubs. Sorry, not wasting it. That's not the right word because they're being paid very well to have a professional career in sport, which they love.
Yep.
But I would love to see these guys on the big stages. Not playing for 17th, 18th.
And this is the problem that we've got is that then you're going to have the big clubs. And I'm going to say, the big clubs, Collingwood, Essendon.
Hawthorn did it back when they had their run.
Yep. Oh, come and play for us. Go and play in front of big crowds, etc. It is so enticing. But it's, I don't know what we do. What Eddie Maguire said might have to be. We might have to slice and dice one. Maybe we have to slice and dice them.
Back to the bad days of the 90s.
Well, we've said for a while that there's too many teams in Melbourne.
Which is probably true.
Fitzroy were really bad, but North, they're not much better at the moment. Financially, yes, but at the moment, they're putrid. Absolutely putrid. And I do worry. I do worry about their stars, and I do worry about their supporters. I spoke to a couple of supporters last week before the game, and they were just like, I went to the game last week, and I turned up hoping to see something, and I don't. Where are we going? What are we doing? I don't think it's Clarkson's fault. I just think that the whole place is in a shit. They've never been good since Scott sliced all those older people.
You knew I was gonna say it.
Ever since he got rid of Boomer, Ferrito,
Dalsano,
all of those ones in one big swoop, it was too much. It ruined Melbourne for years, and it's ruined North probably even longer.
What was that?
And then when you have your only backman go. Now, this is the other thing. They say, Ben Mackay could have stayed. North could have matched it. Why? What? You could have matched it, but you were going to get a first-round draft pick for him.
Yeah.
It's not right. It's not right.
Anyway, North Melbourne tribulations,
Melbourne, yep. All right, we'll probably have the same conversation next week. All right, Jdog. I want to bring something up that could be quite controversial. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Went to the footy Wednesday night with my daughter, and I was there for Anzac Eve. Anzac, if you haven't been to Axe, pardon?
You were the third wheel, I heard.
I was the third wheel. Yes, I was the chaperone for the date. But anyway, getting back to the story. Lights go off. Trooper got riding the horse with the flame, the eternal flame, going up to the cauldron, lights it up. Last post, minute silence, everything. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sight. Then you get onto Anzac Day, the true home of Anzac Day football. Collingwood Essendon. It was the 30th game. Ends in a draw. Pre-game match, line up, go through the banner, last post, everything, etc. Then you go to the evening where GWS and Brisbane played. And they line up, and they go through the banner, and the last post is played, silence. And then you go on a Friday night, and you go on a Saturday night, and you go on a Sunday, etc. Last post, silence at every single game. It's overkill. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it was like welcome to country or acknowledgement of country that's done before every final.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand the messaging behind it, but it sort of lost its importance by 5 days in. And I think they should only keep it predominantly to Anzac Day. Now, yep, I think the last post should only be kept to Anzac Day itself. I'd love to hear a play on Anzac Eve, but you can't have one and not the other. I think it only needs to be played on Anzac Day. Yes, you can have your minute silence, you can have the acknowledgement and all that sort of jazz, but I just think it's overkill hearing it. And that's, once again, no disrespect. I think it'd actually be more respectful to the people that have served our country, and thank you to everyone who's done it, if it was only played on that particular day. Thoughts? Over to you.
I don't think I didn't mind it, to be honest. Every game is fine. Every game was something special about it. I don't know.
It's like,
what was it about that you didn't like about it? What was it specifically?
Like again and again and again, and I know why they're trying to do it, to give everybody the experience of the acknowledgement beforehand, etc. But it just felt it had done its time by the end of Anzac Day. Like, we're still going 3 days after it. We're still doing it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And I just think it lessens the importance of it. It's like, I'm pulling a long bow here. It's like the Big Bash. When they first rolled out the Big Bash, 10 games was the perfect length. Then they added a bit more, and they added a bit more, diluted the product. People thought wasn't really as important, really wasn't as exciting, and now they've dialed it back. I'm not trying to compare the pair, but what I'm saying is that I think if you just leave it on the actual day, it just means a lot more than fluffing it out all the time.
But I think it's good though for every club to have it though, because they get there's a medal for every club, every game. There's a medal for that game. So I think you have to have it. That ties it in.
Why do they have to have a medal for every game?
Because every club wants to celebrate their servicemen and women who fought in the wars.
Yep.
So I think that's important to recognise those.
And I'll acknowledge that. But do they have to do the last post at every single game? I don't think it does. I don't think it needs to be. Have your minute silence and national anthems before every single game. I don't know, Jdog. I don't think you need. You can still have this. You can still have the medal at the end, but I don't think all the other bits and pieces need to be done outside of what gets done on Anzac Day, because that's exactly it. It's the Anzac Day.
Can I pose a hypothetical to you?
Yep.
I feel that you're looking at this in a bias because your team plays on the eve of Anzac, so you're closer to it, and you have one of the big games. Yours one of the big two.
But I also said we shouldn't have it at our game. I said we should not have it at our game.
So you're saying the only game should be the Anzac.
The only game they should play the last post at is at the Anzac Day game.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it's still fine on the Sunday. I don't know. That's me.
I just because I turned the TV on, I watched one game straight into another game. I was like, again. Nah, just a bit.
I don't know. Maybe it's a thing.
Maybe,
Like, maybe
I don't know. I'd love to hear from
maybe overall, not just footy, but other maybe.
Oh,
maybe
medals
should
is
that
another
song
thing.
be reserved for Anzac Day only?
What's that?
The last post should it be reserved for Anzac Day only, and that's
what
it.
I'm saying. That is what I'm saying.
But taking away from the footy context, just for the overall context, last post is a Anzac Day only thing, regardless of where you are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't have an issue with it too much.
Oh, maybe it's just you and I. I'm a bit of the older generation. You know, I'm turning 49 this year. I'm not as tolerant as I used to be. I get little things that annoy me these days.
You get cranky.
You know, like the tag in the back of your shirt or the tag in the back of your jocks, just scratches on your back. That's it at the moment.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it really gets me. Jdog.
Yes.
I have to say it, but you know the Maynard incident that stuffed up everything last year in the
I am aware of the incident. Yes.
Yep. I don't know if you've heard about it. It might have been one that slipped under the radar a little bit. That incident will go down as one that has screwed football ever since.
I'm glad you're going here.
Because since they didn't pull the trigger on him, because they didn't want to rub him out for a grand final, right? Every collision now where someone is collected in the head or results in a concussion, the player is virtually automatically suspended. Now, I saw 2 instances on the weekend which make no sense to me after what's happened in the previous week. So let me play a couple out to you. We saw what happened with Toby Green last week. How they tried to say that was exactly the same as Peter Wright's. Have a look at the two again. Peter Wright, I don't think he had any intention to go for the ball.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right. Every Essendon supporter is going to shoot me down after I said that, but that's what I think. I then see Riley West literally run into a guy, not even looking at him. The guy runs into his back, and they've given him a week. Last week.
2 weeks ago.
Wednesday night. Marlon Pickett punches a guy. Boom. Clayton Oliver in the breadbasket, goes down. Gets a fine. Plain as day. Off the ball. Doesn't get a thing. Marbiol Chol, one-handed push strike to the chest. He gets a week.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just a joke or what?
Are we going to talk about the other one?
Which was the other one?
The 3-weeker, the tackle?
Oh, don't get me started on snags. How is that worth 3 weeks when you got a guy who probably weighs 50 kilos more than you trying to kick a ball, which went towards the action as well too, and he knocks himself out, and to get 3 weeks for that?
Do you want to have run at it first, or do we have run at it first?
You can have a run at it first because I'm dumbfounded about Pendlebury can punch a bloke in the stomach, gets off. Pickett punches a guy in the stomach, gets a fine. Chol punches a guy in the chest, upper neck, maybe, I don't know where, gets a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know And you know what? They haven't even come out and said what constitutes low impact. Everything's medium impact these days.
Mm-hmm.
And I am, if you want to talk about the great things about our game, that is one of the things that is just destroying our game because no one has an idea about what anybody is going to get when they go to the tribunal.
Yep. So full disclosure, Peps and I said at the start of this year, we're not going to talk about tribunal stuff this much because we don't understand it. But Peps, what I want to talk about though, because I don't understand the AF, I don't understand the tribunal process, this whole low, medium, high, blah, blah. I don't understand this because it's not consistent. And that's fine. I'm happy to work in the ambiguity of whatever the AFL decide to do. But this is the part that gets my goat, Peps. If the AFL are going to be serious about this whole protecting the head and protecting the player and onus on things, I think the AFL players need to draw the old reverse card on the AFL because there is no onus on the AFL to step up and actually do something in action other than just rubbing blokes out. And to me, that is a complete failure to protect the game and protect the player. You can't just go back when we're going to see lawsuits in the millions of dollars in the next 10 years saying, oh, yeah, but we told the players we're going to give them a week if they hit someone in the head. That is a complete lack of liability on the AFL. If they're serious, they need to be serious and start talking about the things that we discussed in show 2 this year, which is discussing equipment. Because rubbing blokes out for acts of football, which for you, I, and every other football lover here, a tackle is a tackle, a contest is a contest, and some of these things are completely unavoidable and unintentional. The AFL need to get serious about it and start to protect players by mandating equipment, by mandating things, not just giving blokes weeks because they knock someone out. Because everyone is just effing sick of it. Everyone is effing sick of it. The 3 weeks for Higgins is a complete unjust thing to happen because that is a complete footy incident and it's just a tackle. How can he protect that? He's not running Pythagoras on his tackle down. It is a complete incident. And it's not Lear's fault. He's trying to get rid of the ball. So he's trying to do a football action. It is a complete lack of liability on the AFL to protect players other than saying, well, I told them off once, because that doesn't stack up for me.
No. We'll disagree on the equipment side of things. Because I don't think the equipment's going to, we can, and look, that's fine. But I don't understand things anymore. I looked at Higgins one, I went, he'll get a week, but not 3 because he got a concussion, which Leah had something to do with. It all goes back to the umpires. And I think one of the critical things that the umpires are not doing, and we've spoken about this, they don't blow the whistle fast enough. Mm-hmm. So I've got kids. You know when your kid's doing something wrong, and as soon as you see them doing something wrong, you go, wait, and they stop. Most of the time. But if you don't say anything, they're going to keep doing it until you go, hey, and by then it's too late. That's the problem with the umpiring at the moment. There's a tackle. They're not blowing the whistle. And so what does the player do? Well, he's not playing it, so I'm going to keep going until he does. And then by then, a tackle turns into a sling. It's not right. I went and watched some local footy on the weekend. Local football, and, tell me if I'm right or wrong, listeners. Tell me from what you've seen from a local football is being umpired at a substantially better rate and a better level than the AFL at the moment. If there's a tackle and the guy's taking it on in any way, free kick. Mm-hmm. For some reason, they pay dropping the ball all the time. They pay holding the ball all the time. They pay making no attempt all the time. They've got an actual feel for the game. They've got a feel for the game out there at the moment. The umpires have got no idea. And you're trying to tell me to make them full-time would make a difference? How would umpires going full-time make any difference? We brought 4 umpires in, and it's made it worse. We've got 4 boundary umpires, and no one can even tell if the ball's across the line anymore. How is an umpire going full time? Get him to spend time more, mate. Blow the whistle quicker. The problem is all these interpretations. The problem is all these grey areas that are in it. No wonder. And then they, when it gets the last 5 minutes, they blow the whistle away. They don't even see it. Tory Daniels got it perfect. They don't even worry about blowing a whistle with 5 minutes to go in a game. AKA Sam Draper. I'll just lie on the ball, spread eagle, and they didn't even pay it.
Yeah.
So you've caused this, AFL, you bunch of spuds. You're the only ones who can fix it. The issue is that they're not going to. They could make changes right away, this week, straight away. NRL do it. We don't. We have to wait to the end of the season. Bullshit, you have to wait to the end of the season. You can do it right now if you wanted to.
Yep.
This whole loophole business that they're talking about, the good guy factor. No, as of now, no more. They could do it right now. As of now, no more character references.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
No, but we'll be part of the tomorrow group. Oh, we'll do it tomorrow. Or we'll do it next week. Or the next year team. Oh, I'm going to be part of the next year team. Yep. Well, and therefore, everything is just in the air.
Can I play devil's advocate?
You can put the horns on, grab the pitchfork out, and hallelujah Satan for all I care.
So devil's advocate in me says if we start to do what you're saying in terms of like blowing whistles faster, we're going to have people say AFL's fecked. AFL is completely effed because it's now just touch footy. Now you can't even touch them when they're getting caught holding the ball.
But that's how it used to be.
I know. I'm just saying this is what people are going to start saying.
But this is the issue. They grab the ball, they fend off, get caught, and they go, they didn't have prior. The fend is the prior. Or they'll pick up the ball and take 3 steps and get caught. Oh, they didn't have prior. The 3 steps you took as the prior. That's the issue. If you get rid of prior opportunity, there never was prior opportunity. Where did that ever come in? You grab the ball. If you got tackled and didn't get rid of it correctly, not an attempt, but actually correctly, you got done.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, how can a team, I think it was the other week, had, I think it was 60-something tackles and they only got 1 free kick for it?
Yeah.
How, Jamie? How can you have that? We don't know. And that's what's making these rolling balls. Why do we have a third man up? Why do we have to nominate a ruckman? I've never understood why you have to nominate a ruckman. Why? I just keep thinking we say this shit every single week.
Well, that's just to stop
that is what's taking out the game and not the great games of footy that we're seeing week in, week out. And we should be talking about how awesome Anzac Day was and how fantastic the game on Friday night was. But you see a crappy decision via the tribunal again, or 2 this week, and they're going to spend more time at the tribunal because they've got it wrong again.
Yeah.
And
I can't disagree.
What?
I can't disagree with you, Peps, with that one there.
And I can't disagree with you at all.
So we're at a bit of a thing with it at the moment because I don't know. There seems to be, and just surfing the socials, so it's not a true reflection of what everyone's saying, but it feels like there's a big frustration at the moment with this rule in particular, with penalties being applied to plays in which most people, as you say, by the sniff test, are just acts. It's part of the game.
Yeah, the one, once again, if I'm running towards a ball, I just don't understand now why I have to stop and let my opposition player get it.
Yeah.
I just never understood that. I understand you can't take them out, but you can jump into them with a knee in the middle of their chest and nothing happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. So basically what we're saying is you can smash any other part of their body with any part of your body, but as long as you don't touch the head, that's fine. It's literally what they've said.
I think that's what the AFL want. Yes.
You ever been hit in the body with a knee?
Yeah.
It's not pretty, is it? I know Fang Ali has.
I still maintain that the worst injury is a knee into the side of a thigh.
Oh,
Corky's basically prevent you from walking.
One day against West Coburg doing that.
What happened?
Worst corky I've ever had. Still was not gone a week later. It was purple.
It's the worst. It's the worst injury.
They're the worst. But that's okay. You can do that.
AFL makes you go crazy, doesn't it?
Oh, they just make you go crazy, and it's probably because it's all legal. There has to be something that I can understand how you got to have a safe environment for people to work in. But on the other side, the players who go onto the field realize that there are going to be circumstances when accidents happen. Regardless of how perfect your workplace will be, there's always accidents that are going to happen.
Yeah. And that's where I feel like, and we've discussed this lots of times, that it is a 360 sport, it's a contact sport, and these things happen on the field. Now, I don't know if you can't sign waivers. I get that. There's things set up in place. There's retirement funds. There's injury things set up for AFL players by the associations. But that's where I just think the AFL are not putting enough measures in place other than saying we're going to give someone weeks because they knocked you out. I think that's where, for me, the argument falls flat, and it goes back to equipment. Like WorkSafe or whatever, there's guards in place on machines. There's things on place of things. I think it comes back to that. There's got to be some level of that. I read a great comment on the weekend saying that the grounds are too hard. Now the grounds drain so fast and are so efficient because we want fast football.
Yep.
That maybe that's the cause of all these concussions now. I was like,
the grounds used to have a lot more give. Now they don't. Yeah, it's a very, very good point. There's lots of things that are issues. I've even seen now in some suburban grounds. I remember when growing up, and viewers, you'd know this when you were playing footy in the good old days, the 80s and 90s and the 2000s and 2010s, and probably not much after that. They used to put dirt over cricket pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because they've put artificial turf over the cricket pitches, they don't cover them because it could damage the turf. I can tell you now, if you fall on a cricket pitch, it hurts a lot more.
Yeah.
And it'll probably cost you as a council a hell of a lot more than replacing the artificial turf on that pitch. I don't know. I just don't know. I think the AFL say they care, but they say that they care, but I don't think they do.
Can I change to a different topic? The last little thing about last bit.
Yeah, let's light it up a bit. I know that was pretty deep.
Okay. Can I give a massive, massive, massive shout out, Peps? You and I talk about this topic a bit. Special jumpers.
Mm-hmm.
Over the weekend, obviously we've spoken about Anzac weekend. It ties into our topic at the top of the show. Can I just give a massive shout out to how bloody good the Adelaide Crows jumper looked on the weekend? That for me was the jumper of the weekend. I know we had other clubs had theirs with the names of like their servicemen and women for their teams in the jumper. We saw little emblems of little Anzac figurines and servicemen and women on their jumpers. We saw little wreaths, we saw little pins, we saw little things. But Adelaide's, I don't know if you've got a snap there you can pull up, Peps, or something like that.
Yep.
But Adelaide's, when I saw it, it was by far one of the best special edition jumpers that I have seen. Hands down, one of the best I've ever seen.
Yep.
The way that they combined it.
Yep, got it now.
With the silhouette and then it all coming in, absolutely Great work, Adelaide Football Club. And you'll never hear me say that ever again, being a Port Adelaide supporter. But that jumper there just was undoubtedly the best one of the weekend.
It was, look, Melbourne did one many years ago where they did the same thing with the bugler in the bottom of the yoke.
Yep.
Looked amazing. Oh, look, to be honest, I love the jumpers. I'm going to say something more controversial now. I don't usually say many controversial things. I actually like the jumpers for Anzac more than the Indigenous round jumpers.
Oh, okay.
And I do enjoy I love the Indigenous jumpers, but I just like, just the different ways things. The Essendon have done it with the poppies in the roses.
That was a good one. That was a good jumper.
I think this year they went the rosemary in the sash. Beautiful. I know my club this year had a picture of the shrine across the bottom part of it as well too. Gold Coast Suns had the soldiers marching across the bottom of their jumper with like the sunset of the jump. I just think it just gets so tastefully done. Every club should be really, really proud of what they roll out for Anzac weekend.
Yeah,
really
I just thought it was a
and
good
it is spreading out to local leagues as well too.
Yeah.
But West Coast, as usual, don't bother with Anzac jumpers. Accordingly, West Coast don't have any jumpers. They do an Indigenous one, but they don't do other forms of jumpers that apparently I don't think they did an Indigenous one last year. So I don't know what it is with West Coast. You can't say they haven't got any money because they're the richest club in the league.
West Coast do. They've got the little white swirls in there. So it looks pretty good.
Yeah. There was one other one that they did one. Oh, no, that was it. The women's team, they didn't do one for the Indigenous round for the women's team last year. Every other club had one. That's right. Yeah. So they didn't do one for Jdog Nichols for the female version. So West Coast, pull your finger out, can you, please?
I just thought that jumper from Adelaide with the looked like the sunrise at the back and the bugler. I just thought perfect.
Absolutely perfect. Hey, before we wrap up, one thing that came up last week, we started it again last week, and we're going to go again hopefully this week. Are you right to go this week?
Yeah.
Yep. Due to popular demand, a old-fashioned segment that we bringing back, the Fantail is back with Jdog. So strap yourselves in. Jamie's got the question, who am I on the Fantail? In the comments of the video or comments on the Facebook page after we wrap up this particular episode, right, who do you think it is? Do you have the answer for last week, Jamie?
I do.
Who was it?
Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld. Okay. And for something a little bit different, throw the wrong answers in as this video is going live on Facebook, YouTube, or your favorite podcasting app. But once we're done, give us the right answer, and the winner will be read out next week on the show.
And also, before we do my Fantail, Peps, just remind the listeners, if you want to get on our show, drop us a question, send us a voice message to our Facebook, to our messenger, to our Facebook page.
Send us a message on Facebook. We'll put it on the show. We'll
play it and we'll answer your question.
Yep. We want to hear. Once again, it's lace out. It's how you want your footy.
All right. You ready to go?
Go for it.
All right. Who am I? An American animated sitcom showing a satirical parody of middle-class life. You already know what it is. Conceived by Matt Groening, originally as a series of short, Groening created a dysfunctional family named on characters after members of his own family, setting the show in a fictional town of Springfield. The show has broadcast 532 episodes, becoming the longest-running American sitcom. In 2007, a full-length feature film was released, smashing records globally. The catchphrase, "Dope," said by the character Homer, is now listed in the Oxford English Dictionary.
Ooh, tough one.
Tough one this week. Real challenging.
Ooh, some great answers coming through so far. We've got American Dad, Who's the Boss, The Flintstones. Some others do have them. Brady Bunch, Married with all the classics. So we are going to find out who it will be. Futurama. All those answers are incorrect. So we'd love to see who gets the right answer. Rightio. Hey, Big Dog, 1 week at a time rolling into this last week. We're talking round 8 of AFL football already, almost in the double digits. I can't believe how quick this season is going. All right. Looking at this week's games, my friend, it is as I would say in the classics, a plethora of just awesomeness. Friday night, showdown.
Thursday night.
That's right. Thursday night, showdown. Friday night, practical showdown. Carlton versus Collingwood. Saturday, Battle of the Bridge. 4:35, St Kilda versus North.
Oh,
can't wait for that one. 7:30, the D's versus the Cats. Essendon, West Coast. Harley Reid is back. Could West Coast do the undoable? Could you imagine Essendon supporters if they lose? Richmond, Freo, forget about that. Doggies, Hawks, forget about that. And then the Q clash, Lions versus the Suns.
before we say our teams,
We don't even have to tell you what games. Any game that is a showdown, Q clash, Battle of the Bridge, whatever, they are going to be corkers. The D's are going to be corkers with the Cats. And Carlton Collingwood is going to be an awesome game as well.
Peps, this is a serious conversation. What are the AFL doing scheduling all these clashes on shitty time slots?
Not really.
Battle of the Bridge, 7 o'clock on a Sunday night. No one's going to that live.
Oh, no. The reason is because the next day is Labor Day.
So that's just for those guys.
So they can just get slaughtered.
And why we've got a showdown on a Thursday night, Port Adelaide versus Adelaide?
Because you get
Is it Friday off for them guys?
everybody Friday off. Yep.
Is it for those guys?
Parole. Yep. It's parole day.
Well, I must say that is a travesty.
It's Centrelink Day on Thursday, so they get their money to go to the game on Friday.
I don't mind that being a Friday night clash. Anyway, okay. So for me, who am I looking forward to this week? Peps. It's not my own game.
We've already spoken about that.
I think it belongs to Cats versus Melbourne
Mm-hmm.
and Collingwood Carlton.
Yeah.
They're always corkers.
I can't. Those two are going to be good. The one that really's got my juices flowing, getting me moist, as they would say in the classics. Sydney versus GWS.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Second versus third.
It's not a bad one.
Old school versus new school. The horse versus the king. I am excited for that. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I am excited for a massive end to a massive show. Thank you for everybody who's joined in. Chat has gone absolutely berserker. Tommy Roker saying it's the first real test for Geelong. Interesting after they played Carlton last week, Tommy. But I'm looking forward to see. Yes. Jdog, awesome. I will quickly, one last thing. Did you see Sam Wicks kick a goal on the weekend and nobody got around him?
I did see this. This is an interesting story, isn't it?
Yes, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Wicks gets the chicks.
Wicks gets the chicks.
And does not get surrounded by the dicks.
It seems petty, doesn't it? It seems petty.
Mm.
Does it seem petty to you?
There's only one petty and he plays for my top.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Seems petty. Seems petty.
It's very petty. Very petty.
Got footy players.
If I'd be Longmore, I'd be going, guys, do that shit again. And yeah, that's crap. You know, it's not crap. Us. That's it. Round 7 review in the books. Everybody, if you haven't subscribed on our YouTube channel, please do so. Ring the bell, subscribe. You're just going to love it. More importantly, I've got some cracking little videos coming up over the next couple of weeks. One about rules and one about one situation or one incident that has changed the game forever. And it only happened. Yep. and it only happened 5 seasons ago.
Oh,
You excited, Jdog?
I'm very excited.
Oh, and one last thing I have to show before we wrap up. I got a message from someone on our beautiful Facebook page about you, Jamie Wallace.
Did you?
Yes, we did. And they showed a bit of a doppelganger. They wanted to show a bit of a doppelganger. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to just show you a doppelganger that the beautiful Tori Daniels sent through. Apparently, Jamie Wallace has been showboating as a Hollywood actor. He was in a Hollywood blockbuster in the Hollywood 1980s, playing the role of the one, the only RoboCop. There he is.
That's me.
That is a corker.
I am Alex Murphy.
You are Alex Murphy, Robo-Schlong. Oh, that's a bit. Hey, Jaden, you're no more Jaden Stevens. You're
I've been Jaden Stevens' dad.
RoboCop in the chair.
I've been Jaden Stevens'
ladies and
dad.
gentlemen,
I've been
Sorry.
the porn.
Absolute ripper. Fantastic. Have a great
I've been
week.
the porn star Peps, and now I'm RoboCop. Well done, Tori.
Yeah, I love it. We will see you all next week. Andy Newen, like, subscribe, tell everybody about us. And Jamie Wallace, how do you want your footy?
I like it. Lace out.
I love you, people. Hope your team wins.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye. Mwah. Mwah. RoboCop. RoboCop. RoboCop.